how do you really talk about everything we learned at a board level? Obviously, boards aren't always going to want to go deep in the type of attacks we're seeing, threat groups that we're discussing, even tactics. I think what boards want to hear is the way they talk, the way they speak. And one of the things that boards are responsible for is really managing organizational risk. And I think one of the things that I know you spend a lot of your time talking to boards is don't think of cybersecurity as this new thing or to handle something differently. Instead, incorporate cybersecurity into your risk discussion. So just like you build in plans to support if an executive leaves, or risk if a new entrant comes into your market, or if there's some climate or political change that impacts your supply chain, cybersecurity should be part of that risk discussion.
We'd like everyone to watch every presentation, read the reports in depth, but not everyone loves all the nerdy in-depth detail stuff, and we have to meet people where they are. And so you're exactly it. I think framing things around risk helps us slide in there with how they're already thinking through the problem set and really helps people make the right decisions when it comes to security.
And I liked how you said framing, because that's what we're going to talk about today. So first part of our discussion is really how do you frame the right discussion with the board? And we identified kind of these three topics. I think the first that I'd love your thoughts are on boards should really be asking each other as well as their business, if we were attacked, what would we lose? What would be the impact to our business?
This is a loaded question. You stand to lose a lot. And each business or organization has to be able to make this decision for themselves, identify what those risks are. And so let me characterize it a little bit more. I'm thinking things like financial loss. You get hit with a ransomware attack, you're making a decision to pay a ransom or not. Either way, you have that cost of recovery. And that's not just in ransomware. It's any type of cyber attack. There's going to be a cost to recovery financially, but also reputationally, right? So if I think through data loss, I think of those things together with that reputational loss. And so thinking through, you have your own employees' data, of course, which we don't want to lose that. You want to keep the trust with your employees. You want to know your information is safe and secure. But your customer data, you've spent years building up trust, and like that, it's gone. But ideally, you have either plans in place that better protect it, a plan of how do you respond, which we'll talk about in a moment here. But ultimately, you need to have security plans in place that protect you from that loss. So it's having the conversation about, oh wait, what do we stand to lose when it comes to data within our environment, our own IP information, for example. And then I think the other piece are really the legal and operational consequences. So there are different regulatory frameworks. You might have to deal with legal issues and address what comes with those. And then lawsuits. If you lose data, there is the risk of lawsuit. And so these are things that you think through. They're going to be unique to each business, but you have to think about what do you stand to lose should you be impacted by a cyber activity.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things, especially business leaders often ask, how do we help? Even identifying where that information is stored. So often it's the business owners that really own the applications, the use of application. And so they need to be responsible for helping identify where this information is stored, how it's stored, and who has access to it.
I think you think about, oh, what are my files? Where did I store this? Is this in my email? You have to understand what you have, not just when it comes to the information, but your entire environment, your tool sets, knowing your vulnerabilities, and that take a look at what you have and know what is out there.